Hey everybody, I'm hoping that my chat feature works today. So far, it looks like it's going to. I did have to get a hold of the internet company and they had to reboot me on their end. So that's what happened last time. So I'm really excited that I finally got it working because I'm kind of apprehensive about doing lives. I haven't done them very many times and I've had internet problems a couple of times. So, hello, Stacy. Thank you for joining me. I did want to show you guys this. I've had some questions about this. It hangs back there in my camper and it has a little hang tag right here. My daughter made this for me. And this is a hot pad, and she made it to look like a camping trailer. But since it has this little hang tag here and it hangs funny, I had somebody ask the other day, what is that? Because they couldn't tell what they were looking at, but it's actually a hot pad. So she's very, very talented. Please excuse any random cat hair that sticks to it. It sticks to everything around here because Fluff is long hair and it's everywhere. But I had to give up coffee for a few days, and it took me 3 years to learn to like coffee. I spent my whole life wanting to learn how to make or wanting to learn how to drink it. I always loved the smell, but I could not stomach the taste. I just thought it tasted terrible. And here I finally learned how to drink it. Hi, Sam. I finally learned how to drink it and enjoy it. And I started having stomach pains this week. And I was like, oh man, I think I'm getting an ulcer. Yes, I know. You're surprised by the live. I just decided to try it again now that I got my internet reset on the side of the internet company and they rebooted me. Hi, Bobby. So I thought I'm getting an ulcer from all of these anti-inflammatories that I take. So I cut back on the coffee and my stomach pain went away. You didn't start drinking until you were in your 30s. Well, I don't feel bad because I didn't learn to start drinking coffee until my 50s, Stacy, and it took me 3 years to finally learn how to drink it. Thank you, Bobby. Good to see you guys too. Thank you for joining me for this impromptu live. I wanted to really test out the chat and make sure that it worked. So anyway, I stopped drinking the coffee. My stomach quit hurting. I spent like 2 days in the camper. I didn't even leave the camper because my stomach was hurting like clear, just like right here, like right where it says that you could have an ulcer. And I thought, man, all these anti-inflammatories, I know that's what caused it. And so I thought, I read that coffee can aggravate an ulcer. So I thought, well, I'm just going to lay off my coffee and see. Of course, I like the dark coffee, and I don't know if that makes a difference. And also, it can increase your stomach acid, Sam. It said that when I looked it up, it said it can increase your stomach acid. It can aggravate ulcers. And I've been drinking about 6 cups of coffee every morning. So I cut back and just went cold turkey without coffee for like 4 days. And I'm not addicted, evidently. I had no headache. I had no shakes. I didn't even miss not having it. And my stomach pain just went away. So today I tried 1 cup. I tried a Keurig cup of coffee and I had no problems, but I ate a banana first. So that might have been the reason. Oh, yes, you are welcome. You are welcome. I knew that you wanted to know what that little thing was, and I thought I really need to tell Diane what that little hot pad is. But yeah, it's hanging crooked. I did stop cold turkey, Sam, and it didn't bother me a bit. My husband was like, oh, you're going to have a terrible headache. Didn't have a headache. And for many years, I drank like 6 to 8 Diet Pepsis a day. And several years ago, I went down to 1 a day. I never had a headache. I never had the shakes. I don't know why, but apparently I don't have an addictive personality, thank goodness. But I have a son who coffee bothers him. He gets the shakes. He can't sleep at night. It gives him stomach trouble. He even went to decaf and it still gave him problems. Can you guys hear me okay? Because I have a little window fan on. I hope that's not bothering you. It's 82 degrees here. I don't have the AC on. And so, good, thank you. So I have it up here by the window on the cool side of the camper, and it just makes it comfortable in here. So I try not to run the AC whenever I can. My electric bill runs about $54 a month, and that is just right where I'd like for it to stay. So unless it is really hot, like the other day it was 102. Like 2 days ago it was 102 down here, if you can believe it. And there was no wind. It was just hot. Just you couldn't breathe kind of hot. So I did have to turn on the air a little bit in the afternoon finally, but I still had to drape things over my windows. And it helped a lot. I kept my AC on low, and I kept it on the lowest cool setting, and it was perfect after, making all of the camper with the window coverings on. It still was perfect, but I was glad I didn't have to turn it up any higher. Oh, thank you. I tried to do that live stream the other day, and my internet was just in and out that whole weekend, and then I had trouble for several more days. I was trying to even like pre-record some stuff, and it was just buffering and buffering, and I'm like, okay, this wasn't operator error, which I thought it might be. This actually is my internet. And I rebooted the boxes, and the boxes were so hot when you touched them. I was like, something is wrong. And so I finally called them, and they said, we can reset you on our side. I said, that would be great, because I have a YouTube, and this is really causing problems. So, Bobby, you quit sugar. Oh, the withdrawals were horrific. I have never officially quit sugar. I have been on the Atkins before. I did that, and I was on that for 3 years. I stayed under 60 carbs a day, and I lost 60 pounds and kept it off. I still ate whatever I wanted. I just made sure that I stayed under those 60 carbs a day. But I've never tried to quit sugar completely. I don't know if I could do that or not. I think it would be hard. But even since I started having this problem with my stomach, I haven't ate much sugar this week at all. And I've actually lost a little bit of weight, which made me feel good. So I don't know if the creamer I'm putting in my coffee was putting on pounds, but it could be. No, I don't feel like I need to drink the coffee for the caffeine. I felt like I needed to drink it because I was a grown up. I knew everybody drank coffee but me, and everybody would invite me to drink coffee, and I'd tell them, no, I don't like it. I love the smell, but I don't like it. So I just kept thinking, I need to drink this. I'm a grown up. I need to learn how to drink it. And I finally did. Now, I can't drink it black. My husband drinks it black. And he said he had an uncle that told him, if you don't drink it black, you don't need coffee. And so he learned to drink it black, and then he saw his uncle was putting creamer in his. So he was just messing with him, but that's how he learned how to drink it. Hi, Carmen. Thank you for joining me today. Yes, Stacy, I did it 3 years, and I did like I ate 5 times a day. That's how I did the Atkins. I would like have a smoothie for breakfast. I'd make myself like eat an apple for mid-morning snack, even though I did not want it. I wasn't hungry. I made myself eat it. I found that if I stayed full, I didn't snack, and I lost weight, and it built up my metabolism. And then lunch, I would have like a big salad with cheese and hard-boiled egg, and I mean everything you could pile in a huge salad, as big as I could make it. And I had salad dressing on it. And then in the afternoon, I forced myself to eat like another low carb snack, like carrots or grapes. And then for supper, I would have just a reasonable supper with like green beans and chicken and, just anything that was low carb. I stayed away from like the potatoes and the rice and the pasta. And I was able to keep it off. Of course, I was walking about 4.5 miles a day then too. And in my 40s, when I was about 44, I was in the best shape of my life because I was on the Atkins. I was walking 4.5 miles a day, and I felt really good. I felt like I was in better shape than I was in high school when I was in sports. So I wish I could get back to that, but my body just will not allow me to walk that much now. I'm lucky now to get in a mile and a half. Last year I could get in 2 miles a day, but now a mile and a half is really pushing it this year. So I can tell that I'm not in as good a shape as I was last year. I can tell that I have more pain this year than I realized. Um, that it had gotten a little bit worse. So I do have a little bit more trouble walking this year. But I had a pair of shorts that I had in the camper from last year. And when I got home after a month or two, I couldn't fit into them. I just tried them on this morning and they fit. And I thought, what? Because I've only lost a couple more pounds, but I'm back in these shorts I couldn't wear last summer. So that's exciting. Stacy, you like a lot of creamer. I do too. I just have creamer and coffee. I had somebody tell me when I was learning to drink coffee, put in creamer, put in sugar, put on whipped cream, anything you can get. And then as you learn to like it, you can start cutting back and take off the whipped cream and take out the sugar. And before you know it, you'll just be drinking creamer and coffee. And that actually worked for me. So that's how I did it. Cream and instant coffee. You like cream and instant coffee, otherwise it's black with a bit of sugar. I use instant coffee, but I only use it for my iced coffee. I feel like it has a better flavor than the brewed. So I do use instant coffee for that. And I've had instant coffee when like the power was out before. Hi, Sandra. How is it in British Columbia? Is it cold up there? Hi, Nancy. Thank you for joining us. We haven't been on here very long, so you haven't missed too much. You can always rewatch that little bit of chatting in the beginning. Thank you, Stacy. I'm excited because I feel fat. I still do. And to be able to put on those shorts this morning, it's a good self-esteem thing to keep going and say, hey, what I'm doing at least is working, and I just need to keep doing it. So it's always good when you can put on something that you couldn't get on before. It's 82 here right now, Sam. It's this morning when I got up, the air quality was 135, which is still like in the peach orange zone, like it was the other day, and there wasn't any wind. So I don't know why our weather quality was so bad down here, but it's now in the 70s. Of course, where I live in Kansas, it's more like 29, 30. Our air quality there is fantastic compared to down here. I feel like I can hear it in my voice, and my allergies have been worse when I'm down here. They just say it's because this is such a populated area. McAllen, Mission, all of these little communities have so many people, and you just go town to town to town. It's just like all together. And so they say a lot of it is vehicle emissions, and a lot of it is industry. And then when the wind blows, they say there's like particle matter. I don't know, but it's sunny here today. It's just a light breeze. It's really beautiful outside. Kind of hot when you're in the sun, but other than that, it's really perfect today. Oh, Sandra, you've got snow flurries yesterday, and snow didn't last. They're expecting another little winter blast in Kansas, where my house is at too. It just doesn't seem to want to go away. Oh, you had a mild winter though. That's good. We had a pretty good winter in Kansas. In fact, my husband's water was froze up for 3 days. We have an old farmhouse. The plumbing was put in after the farmhouse was built because it was originally built when there was no indoor plumbing. And so all of the walls have outside piping, and that outside piping will freeze when it gets negative temperatures. And then when it gets to be around 40 degrees, they all thaw out again, but nothing broke. Yes, it is nice to have pure air in Kansas. And I haven't had allergy problems for quite a few years. I had them really bad when I was in my 20s, but I haven't had them for a bunch of years. And then this year I started having problems down here. And then I started really noticing the air quality wasn't good. And I don't think it was like that last year, because I look at the weather every day, and I scroll down to see what the humidity is because that can make a huge difference down here. Sometimes the humidity is above the dew point and it's just drippy down here. And so I always look at that. And if the air quality is bad, it's right there and I have to scroll by it. And when it's bright orange, I was like, wait a minute, why is that bright orange? So I don't remember it being like that last year. I think I would have noticed it. Oh, your flowers are starting to come up and your pollen's in full force. My husband did a FaceTime with me, and our Easter lilies are blooming already. So that is nice. And the trees are starting to bud. So that's very hopeful. My grandparents lived there years ago. That's where my house came from. Several people lived in there in between me and them passing away. And then I was able to acquire the house again. It is built on no foundation. And so I am having some issues because of that. Some of the floors have fallen or gotten uneven. I've had to pull up floors and had to pour cement. I've got another floor that is doing that. And it's so hard to find people out there to work on things. But it was built on sandstone. And if you've ever seen sandstone, it's that red stone that you can kind of write with it like chalk. But over time, it just flakes away and falls apart. And so we've actually had to jack up the kitchen window and pour cement. We've had to rip up the kitchen floor and pour cement. And now I need to do something on part of the living room floor. But yeah, it's a really old house. My ex-husband's, some of his family lived there originally back in the days when there was no plumbing or anything. And then I think my grandparents might have moved in there in the 70s. And then I didn't move in there until, when did I? Because my grandparents have been gone since I was like 14 to 16 is when my grandparents all died. And I didn't move in there until right before I had my sixth kid. And that's when I moved in there. So I've been there, I guess, around 26 years now. And I've had to replace the roof. I've had to do a lot of things. There was no electricity upstairs. I've had to put electricity in upstairs. So, I mean, it definitely is an old original farmhouse from the early 1900s. Okay. Southern Ontario is in the teens, but it's raining today. Okay. I am in South Central Kansas. So I don't live in any town. I'm like 29 miles like north of the Oklahoma border. But if you cross the Oklahoma border, there's like nothing for a long ways again. So there's like nothing on my side, nothing on their side. So I'm just out in the prairie land in the farmland area. I'm hoping to put in new windows this year. That was originally my goal, but now I'm thinking I may need to see if I can do something about that floor that's sinking on one part of the living room first, because I don't want to like put in windows and then they jack up the floor and it breaks my window or something. I need to make sure that that is level. But that was my goal originally. I still may be putting them in the back bedroom. I do have a cement floor there, so that one should be okay to go ahead and put windows in. But I need to replace the windows. They're the original windows with the pulley strings. Some of the window bases are starting to rot out on the outside, and I need to be doing that. I just loved the look of the old windows, but it's time for them to go. Ontario had a rough winter. Yes, Stacy, it is always something with a house. That's for sure. I mean, you can try to do as much as you can ahead of time. You can try to save money. You can try to make sure that all your medical and your dental and everything's taken care of and that you've replaced things in your house. I mean, we remodeled the bathroom and put in a walk-in shower. You can try to do all these things, but there's always going to be something that comes up because it's a house, and it's better if somebody lives in it than not lives in it, because it will fall apart if somebody's not living in it, but it still needs upkeep. you had a harsh winter, but now it's been warm temps. So down here, it's kind of feeling like uncertain times. I know I have a lot of Canadians that watch this show or watch this YouTube, and I try not to get political, but just to be upfront and honest with you guys, I have Canadian neighbors. I have a lot of Canadian friends down here, and they're already telling me that um, they're not maybe coming back next year, or that they're looking at another place to go, maybe like Portugal or somewhere else. Their dollar is already like 70 cents on the dollar. And then, everything is just so uncertain with some of the government changes that have been taking place. I know Arizona had a lot of Canadians that didn't come down this year because of the dollar exchange. And I already have one Canadian that I went out to eat with the other night with my parents, my in-laws at the Legion, and they bought last year and they sold this year. So they're not coming back. So I don't know how everything is going with everybody where you're at. But again, living frugally, trying to stock up where you can, trying to make sure you stay debt free. All the things that we do on this channel and those other channels are really like the best things that we can do to try to keep going through these uncertain times. And I'm just going to keep going like I'm going. And everything has been working. I'm going to keep saving. I'm going to keep being careful with my money. And I hope that everybody else is doing the same, because we just don't know what the future holds with everything that's been going on. I don't know if it's been affecting anybody. On the Canada side, I know I have some really good friends that live up in Canada. A couple of them are on here today. Sandra and Sam are up there. But yeah, it's kind of, I'm kind of feeling it down here because I have so many Canadian friends around here. So I'm kind of feeling, the stress that's going with the uncertainty that they're feeling right now. So I'm trying to make sure my internet's still working here. I had a buffer going. That always worries me when they get the buffer going. So do you guys have any questions or anything that you would like for me to address in the future? I'm always glad to try to make videos that have interest to you guys. I always also try to keep my privacy to a certain degree. I do share a lot on this channel, but there's some things that I do keep to myself, of course, just for safety reasons. Had some people ask me like exactly where I'm at, what park I'm in. I haven't given out that information. I am in the Rio Grande Valley. I am around the Mission McAllen area. There are tons of 55 and over communities down here. You can throw a rock and they are everywhere. So there are tons of them down here. They all come down here to escape the cold weather from wherever they are at for 3 months. This 3 months is bustling. It's a huge part of their economy. And then when we all leave, it's pretty dead. It's kind of their shot in the arm until everybody gets back. So I don't tell everybody exactly where I live, but I do tell you the general area that I'm staying. Now, there are so many parks down here, and they're all really affordable, at least for now. And maybe the one that I'm in, I don't know if it costs more than some of the others. I have seen some of the others as low as $199 a month for a lot rent, but I don't know if they have a pool. I don't know if they're I don't know what's included in that. So it may be a lot less amenities. Right here, my water is free. I only pay for my electric. My trash is free. I pay for my internet and my lot rent, and that is it. Thank you, Stacy. I have been enjoying watching your videos as well. Privacy is important, Sandra. I know I've seen some YouTubers that give their exact address, and I always kind of worry about that. Everybody on here is so kind, and I consider you all friends, but there are so many people out there that pretend to be you, and I've had people pretending to be me on TikToks, and they have been messaging people that follow me. And so if you thought you were talking to me and then you weren't, you might accidentally give out information maybe that you didn't think you were giving out because you thought you were talking to me. So I just have to be really careful about that. Thank you for understanding that, Kimberly. I appreciate that. Joanne, how do I put on eye makeup? Well, honestly, if I take off my glasses, this is about how far I can see. I have such near vision. My eyes are like negative 11 and a half and negative 12. So I have to get super close to the mirror to be able to see to do anything. So as I get older and my vision gets worse, there's times I will get ready to do a video and I'm like, what is that? And I think there's something smeared, and no, it's just the circles under my eyes. And I've already put on cover up and I've already put on face powder and you can still see them. So I'm just like, that's just the way it is. I hope nobody thinks my makeup is smeared. Pretty today in Mississippi. It's 67 and sunny. Yeah, that's a beautiful day there. I'm glad that I'm able to help you and that some of the tips I give you are helping. I just like to share the things that I do. Some of them may be tiny, some of them may be um, just not even something that you might do. And you may think, man, that's just a dumb idea. But I have found that when you start thinking a certain way, it opens up ideas for you to come up with more ideas on how to save money. So even if they're small and silly, they might spark an idea that's totally different that might help you save in another way. And so, hi Pat, I'm glad that you made it. You can rewatch our chatting and rambling when we're done here. Thank you. I try to keep that information private. I really do. What frugal fun do you have planned when I get home? Oh man, Stacy, this summer is going to be a way different than the other summers. And of course, I'll take you with me. But 2 weeks after I get home, we are going to Florida to vacation for a week. My husband and I. We're staying in an older resort. We usually we get a kitchenette. We make at least one meal a day there. And then if we go out to eat and have leftovers, we'll heat that up and eat it the next day. Um, we do a lot of free things there. They have an older resort when you get to use the kayak, you get to have a little private beach. They have iguanas that'll just walk right by you while you're sunbathing. They have a swimming pool. And so we're doing that this as soon as I get back in a couple of weeks. And then I'm going to be going to North Carolina to stay with my 17-year-old grandson for about 10 days while my son and daughter-in-law take a vacation. And then in June, I'm going to be dog sitting for another grown son and daughter-in-law while they vacation for about 3 weeks. So we'll be having some on-site videos from other states and other parts of Kansas some this summer. And then I have grandkids that are involved in ballet, gymnastics, baseball, soccer. So I'll be going to a lot of grandkids sports this summer. I always enjoy doing that. That's the time of the year that I get to see them the most. During the school year, they're busy. So a lot of times I only see them around birthdays and holidays. But in the summer, I get to see them a lot. In fact, my grandson that plays baseball, sometimes he has games 4 and 5 nights a week. So it's fun because I get to see them a lot in the summertime. And then, of course, I'll be doing all my frugal stuff that I normally do. I'll be doing frugal cooking and I'll be hanging clothes on the line. We'll be taking care of the donkey. We'll be doing gardening. We'll be doing all of those fun things that have now become hobbies for me when I get home. Thank you, Pat. I appreciate you guys so much. Just saying Kansas is enough, Sam. I'm sorry, Diane. Just saying Kansas is enough. I live in the foothills of North Carolina, close to the mountains. And it's been different this year because like January and February were so cold. There was maybe 8 days in January and February that I could even really get outside. So I feel like I spent a lot of my time in the RV this winter, but it was still a lot warmer than it was at home. Of course, I don't know, when it gets to be like 29 degrees at night. I don't know if it really matters if it's like -3 at home. Once my feet are frozen, they're frozen. So I don't know if another 20, 30 degrees makes a difference. Um, yes, Sandra, I will be taking my plants back to Kansas. In fact, I have a bunch of green peppers growing right now on my green pepper plant, like 7 or 8 of them. I'm so excited. How many grandkids live in Kansas? Let's see. I have 4 in Kansas, and I have a step grandkid in Kansas. All the rest are well, I have one in Alaska that's in the military, and then all the rest of them are in North Carolina. Who will take care of Brownie while I'm in Florida? So Brownie lives on big hay bales, and then I have a couple of ponds for water. That's what he lives on during the winter time. And my nephew just lives like 3 miles from me. He checks on and he brings me the bales. And then in the summer, he just grazes and he drinks out of the ponds. So he's really low maintenance. He doesn't require a whole lot. He does like to come up to the fence and get treats. We give him saltine crackers. He likes dog biscuits. And sometimes we get him fancy horse treats. But he's pretty easygoing about that. And when he wants a treat, he comes up to the fence by the house that I've shown you in the videos. And the rest of the time, he just wanders on like this it's 5.5 acres because my niece and I have adjoining property that we just open the gates and just let him wander back and forth. I'm in Georgia and we had strong winds mixed with rain last night until this morning. We're supposed to get some more rain, they say, but I don't think so. We've really had no rain down here. In fact, my neighbors on this side, their area looks like desert. Over here, I have a few weeds, but they're so dry they just crunch when you walk on them. We haven't had any rain. Last year, we had quite a bit of rain, and then we had enough days that were so humid that sometimes water would be dripping off of the camper. We just haven't had that this year. It has been super, super dry down here. And I know we had crazy 80-mile-an-hour winds in Kansas a few days ago with massive pileup wrecks and fatalities in several different places. They had wildfires they were trying to put out, and it was dirt blowing so bad that my oldest daughter texted me and said she had taken the kids somewhere and couldn't see past the end of her hood of her car trying to drive them back home. So we get high winds down here too, but we just haven't had the dirt blowing like Oklahoma and Kansas has had. Oh, you've been having earthquakes, Sandra. I guess I didn't realize that Canada had earthquakes. We get them in Kansas. We didn't used to when I was a kid, but we've had them in the last, I don't know, 15 years. We've had them. And there for a while, we were getting a lot right around my house. And I think that's been part of my issue with my house not being built on a foundation, is because we had one earthquake that actually cracked my sidewalk, cracked onto my back porch, and cracked clear across my bathroom floor. That was one of the first earthquakes we had. So that one I could see, but I mean, it does structural damage that you can't always see. You get earthquakes in New York too. Oh, you're over a big fault line. Oh, yikes. What do my kids think of me being a YouTuber? Okay, so I can go. I have 6 kids and a stepdaughter. My stepdaughter thinks it's cool. Um, my oldest 2 daughters, they don't watch, they don't do YouTube at all. My oldest 2 boys, they think it's, well, all 3 of my boys actually, they think it's great. They encourage me to do it. And they're always like, Mom, I can't believe that you're doing so good. I'm like, I I can't believe that I even have as many of you following me as I do, because I'm just like a country farm girl. I'm just ordinary. Um, so I'm so flattered that you all even want to watch me or listen to me. But they all think that it's cool. And then my youngest daughter, she listens to me. So and she's very frugal too. So yeah, out of it, I've got 4 kids that are thinking it's cool. In fact, they encouraged me to do it. 2 that don't even watch YouTube, don't watch anybody on YouTube, and then a stepdaughter that watches me. The weather's been so different this year. We've had cold days, and then 2 days later, it's so hot. That's the way Kansas is year round. Year round. I mean, Kansas has already had some 80-degree days, and then it was back in the 30s yesterday again. So it's like that where I live in Kansas all the time. You hate to even put away your winter clothes. I mean, where I live, I don't have closets because I have this old farmhouse. People had clothes they wore to work, clothes they wore to church. And work was overalls for the farm. So they didn't have closets because they didn't need them. So I have one under the stairway closet that's very small, and that's it. So if you look at the house and there's no closets there, I have stuff just stacked and piled. I've put up rods. I've had to do stuff like that just to have places to put my clothing. And I have to put away my winter clothes each year, like in suitcases, to have room for my summer clothes. And it never fails. If you think, okay, I've had the last winter day, I'm going to put my winter clothes in the suitcase. 2 days later, it's winter again. So I have to really make sure winter is over. We've had snow in May before, which is crazy. What would I offer to someone who's considered beginning a YouTube channel? Find something that you're passionate about, something that interests you to talk about. And then I spent a lot of time researching and learning how to even set up a channel, how to edit. I've learned how to do this stuff by myself. And I was in my 50s learning how to do this stuff. So, depending on how techy you are, you might want to spend a little bit of time learning how to do that. I spent a lot of time learning how to do that, and I still have learned so much more that I wish I would have known at the beginning that might have helped me more. So just find something that you're passionate about. And if you do, I feel like the people that are interested in that with you will come. I know I hear a lot of people say, I get so discouraged when somebody like unsubscribes. I don't really think about it like that. I don't get discouraged if they unsubscribe. I don't think, oh man, what did I do wrong? Or what did I say? Or what should I have said? I just feel like that is them filtering themselves into a topic or a person that they identify with the most. And so that when they unsubscribe, I just feel like the group that I have is probably more tailored towards my thinking and towards me, and that it's just balanced better that way. So don't let people subscribing and unsubscribing be something that really affects how you feel about yourself or affects your self-esteem, because sometimes people just they'll like one video and then they'll be like, oh, this isn't really what I thought it was going to be, and so they'll unsubscribe, and that's okay because they're just, they're just tailoring themselves towards the channels that interest them the most. It's nothing personal. I help you know what day it is, Pat. Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. That's when I post. And at one time, I tried to do it on different days because those days seem to be pretty saturated with some of my favorite YouTubers. And I thought, well, maybe it'd be better to do it on days that are not as busy when, there's some days I'm on there going, well, who can I watch today? Nobody put out anything new. But those are the days that the people that follow me are used to. And I quickly put put my videos right back where they were, because the people that followed me and counted on me on those days at those times were looking for me. And so I put the videos right back on those days again. So those are some of my favorite days as well, because some of my favorite YouTubers post on those days. Thank you, Diane. Um, Even if it grows bigger, I have already talked to my husband about this. It's still going to be the way it is now. I don't plan on hiring people to answer people. I don't plan on doing those things that a lot of those big channels do. I want to keep this intimate. I want to keep it where I know the people that I'm talking to, and I want it to be where we're talking to each other. And I don't want to be one of those big channels where I don't know everybody and they don't know me. So even if it grows, I don't plan on the channel changing, and I don't plan on me changing because, like I said, I'm just an ordinary farm girl. Oh, you post on Facebook every morning, and I'm sure people look forward to that too. Oh, thank you, Sam. I try to be very unjudgmental because I know people can maybe look at me and say, well, why is she doing that? Or why did she do that? And I have my reasons, just like you have your reasons. I have my reasons why I do things. And I don't want anybody judging me, like how I spend my money, how I live. I don't want that. So I try not to do that with anybody else. And I want to be motivating because I want you guys to have hope that you can have the life of your dreams, and that frugal life can help you get there and stay there. I think it's important. A lot of us may think that retirement is just like building this huge mountain of cash and just spending it any way we want. But that's not realistic. We've been led to believe that's realistic. But for such a small percentage of people, is that really realistic? What's realistic is us saving our money, living frugally, spending it where it means the most to us, and trying to stay debt free so that we are as stress free as possible. To me, that is the logical path that most of us, I think, end up following. So I think there's more people in our class than there is in that big mountain of cash, go on these lavish trips and just don't even think about how much money they're spending. I think there's more people in our class. Do I have investments that provide income? We have CDs and we have a savings account. And those CDs provide income, and they have better interest rates than even some of those online bank places that I hear people recommend. We get better rates from our local brick and mortar bank, and then we just roll over and capitalize on the money we have in there. So if we have money in there and it gains this much interest, by the time the CD is over, we see what the rates are. We see what the options are as far as how long we can roll it over again. And then we pick those options that we're comfortable with. Maybe things are uncertain right now. We just had a CD end that was 9 months. They had another good one that was like 13 months, but they had one that was almost as good for 91 days. So my husband and I talked it over and we chose the 91 days because we were comfortable with tying it up 91 days, but maybe not 13 months. And so that's what we have, and it does compound, which means the interest I get this month is going to have interest on it again next month. So each month that amount gets bigger, and then it just builds on the interest and the principal that you put in there. So yeah, we're probably pretty conservative in the way that we invest money. I had an aunt lose a lot of money in the stock market in 2008. I was raised by Depression era farmer parents. And so we never really did the stock market. We never really did anything like that. We did savings, we did CDs, we did money markets, and I pretty well stick with that because I want to be able to access my money if I need it. That's one of the reasons I'm not real comfortable with online banks. I want to be able to go into the bank and say, I need my money now, and they'll give it to me. And so I'm very old fashioned in that way. Thank you, Frugal Ray. Well, hi, Undertaker. That is my husband, guys. That is my husband. And I plan on having him tell everyone how he feels about me wintering in Texas without him for 3 months. I've already told him I'm going to ask you some questions. Our viewers ask me, and I want you to tell them honestly how you feel about it. Thank you, Pat. Yes, Sandra, I have set days. Monday and Wednesday, I post at 7 a.m., and Saturday, I post at 9 a.m. And then sometimes I throw in some shorts once in a while, but they're just random. Thank you, Pat. I plan on staying myself. I think at 59, it's a little late to be changing anything. Oh, thank you. Sometimes you're out and you'll see something and think about your video as being frugal. I hear so many people from TikTok and YouTube tell me that sometimes they remember things I've said when they're out shopping, or they even hear my voice in their head, which I hope that's a good thing. But it's funny because I just I find that flattering that it's helping some people, and I'm so glad that it's helping some people. I really don't get paid from TikTok. I get paid so bad. In fact, I have been like flatlined, not even getting a penny for so long that I hate to give TikTok up because I have so many people that private message me and tell me how much my tips have helped them that I just hate to give up TikTok, even though I'm not even making anything from it. Oh, good. And I plan on doing a video on more spices this summer. I've already had someone ask me if I can do like a full video of a bunch of the homemade spices that I do. Yeah, my husband's really not shy. He doesn't mind when I ask him to do stuff like that. I've only had him on one video, but he doesn't mind a bit. Um, other than my husband's parents, I don't have anybody down here with me. I do have a cousin that has already indicated that she might want to come down next year and visit me for a few days. And I do have an older lady from our community who is about 5 miles from here. She's been down here like 30 years in one of the 55 and over parks. But I think we hit and miss at different times this year. Last year I saw her a couple of times. This year I didn't see her at all. I think she came out down before Christmas. I wasn't here, and I think she went back after Christmas, and that's when I came down. So we missed each other this year, but I see her when I'm home. Oh, I'm glad that they help you stay motivated and passionate about frugality. There's so many things that we can do, kind of like me being able to put on those shorts this morning that I couldn't wear. Um, just little things like that that we can see are working, or little things that just become our natural day to day frugal things that we do that we can build on, and then they just become normal everyday things, and we can put more of those normal everyday things in there, and it helps us build that motivation and that passion to keep going. So when we can see results, it helps us keep going. So I'm glad. I try to keep you guys motivated. I hope I am. I'm motivated to save money because I'm motivated not to go back to work full time. I do have two part-time, I guess you'd call it gig work that I do. I do the election poll supervisor, and I did that in August and November last year. And I did the state fair for 9 days in September. And I do mystery shop. So I do a few things like that on the side, but they add to the money that I have and they help my money stretch. And a couple of those come like right before the holidays. So that helps. You can't wait to hear from my husband. Well, I can't wait to have him tell you, because I know so many people worry about him and whether or not he is okay with me being down here, and whether or not he's okay on his own, and how could I leave him, and how could he let me leave him, and are we okay? And honestly, I think it will do everybody some good to hear from him. You think, what would Bonita do in this situation? Well, if you have some enlightening moments, let me know. I might learn something. I like listening to other frugal people too, Sandra. Some of my favorites are like Frugal Queen of France. I love her. I've listened to her for years, and I love how blunt she can be sometimes. I really enjoy listening to her. I probably watch every video that she has. There are a few others that are hit and miss, but she's probably my favorite. That's right. The more we know, the more we learn. It's like know better, do better, right? So definitely. Well, I've been on here almost an hour. Do you guys have anything else you want to chat about before I let you go today? I'm sorry I didn't give you notice I was doing this. I just got that internet fixed and I was like, I'm going to hop on here and see if the chat is working. You just finished watching Frugal Queen of France. I did too. I watched her today too. And she's one that I think she posts Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday. So she's one of the few I can watch on Sunday that has a new video out. Yeah, she's so blunt sometimes. Sometimes she says what I'm thinking, but I wouldn't say it. But when she says it, I'm like, I'm so proud of you for being so brave to say that, because that's kind of what I was thinking, but I wouldn't ever do it. But I do. I enjoy her dry humor, and I enjoy her cooking and some of the foods that she shows, because they're so much different than American foods. So I enjoy those. Thank you, Ray. I am really glad that you will be keeping up with me. Well, thank you guys for joining me today. I appreciate it so very much. I will have a new video out tomorrow morning. And on the one tomorrow, we are going to the beach. So I hope you will enjoy that. And I will talk to you next time.